As you could see, or hear rather, in that first clip, one of our daily drivers recently developed a pretty noticeable exhaust leak. Although it does garner a lot of attention and it fits in quite nicely with a lot of the mid-90s Civics at the local McDonald's parking lot, it just isn't quite my style. I don't think this old girl's making quite enough sauce to be so loud and draw so much attention. Here you can see as I'm pulling into the bay, this is a beautiful machine. Truly the pinnacle of engineering from GM. A 2008 Chevy Aveo 5 equipped with a powerhouse 1.6 liter EcoTech engine, pumping out a blistering 103 buff horses from the factory. Shout out James Pumphrey, I love doing it with you. All joking aside, my girlfriend and I have had this car for a little over a year and we love it. It sees the most miles of any of the vehicles in our fleet and truly is a great little car. And that's why today we'll be taking care of this pesky exhaust leak. Don't mind me as I try to figure out where to put the lift arms. It's not like I've had this thing up in the air 100 times before or anything. Here you can see a close-up of what used to be the flex section of the exhaust. This is just downstream of the cat in the O2 sensor and appears to have seen some better days. If you've been around the channel and seen any of the videos, you'll probably know that taking care of that exhaust leak doesn't really mean I'm just going to be bolting on a new exhaust system. I'm kind of more of a don't spend money unless I have to kind of guy. And honestly, since the leak was behind the O2 sensor and it doesn't cause any engine codes, I considered just letting it be. However, the old lady was embarrassed to drive it and was getting tired of 16-year-olds and 92 Integras trying to race her every time she went up to pick up groceries, so my hands were kind of tied. When faced with the dilemma of forking over hard-earned dollars for new parts, or facing the wrath of an angry girlfriend, I made the same decision that any reasonable man would, and decided that this problem, like most, could be solved with an angle grinder and a welder. Here you can see that my brother Andrew came down and lent me a hand in hacking up the old exhaust. Thanks, Andrew. Here you can see that I opted to bypass the standard equipment PPE in favor for the old turn and squint. Apparently the sparks cannot hurt you if your face looks ridiculous enough. It was a bit of a struggle as the grinder wheel wasn't quite big enough to get through and the saw blade was incredibly dull. However, we eventually got through it, just took a little persuasion and teamwork.
Deburring thingy and clean those up.
I'd say that went pretty well.
Yeah.
I mentioned to Andrew I was going to change my oil, but I'd like to use the drain plug.
Did I actually make a nick?
Yeah! It was a flap wheel though, it's fine. It's just a clean spot.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I appreciate the help. In the past, as this is now the third of my cars to receive this treatment, we've used sections of an old trampoline to replace the hacked out pieces of exhaust. I don't remember why there's a trampoline frame in the scrap pile or where it came from, but it has been incredibly handy over the years. That trampoline's now part of two of my other cars, as well as various other odds and ends style projects around Andrew's house primarily. Whatever the case, This time the trampoline tubing had too small of a diameter for what I was looking for. However, it didn't take long to find something that looked perfect. Luckily for me, one of Andrew's project vehicles was sitting right next to where I was working, and as luck would have it, its tailpipe was exactly the diameter I was looking for. I don't think Andrew will miss this 8 inches of exhaust. Thanks, Andrew. After making rough cuts with the angle grinder, I took the section of pipe to the bandsaw to give myself a little cleaner and straighter joints to work with. Side note about this bandsaw, it's a Harbor Freight saw that Andrew bought secondhand years ago, and it's even survived a barn fire. People like to knock Harbor Freight. This thing has been a workhorse for us. I'm pretty sure we've only ever even changed the blade once since it's been in the arsenal. Next, I finished prepping the new exhaust section on the wire wheel and belt sander to try to create as good of a fit as possible into the existing exhaust. I'm sure some of you, if anyone is even watching this, are probably yelling at me that I need to replace the flex section with another flex section. Honestly, maybe you're right. However, like I mentioned, this is the third car that I've done this to, and all three have been daily drivers. They don't make a ton of power, or hardly any. They have very forgiving rubber exhaust hangers, they're relatively light, and they're small diameter systems, and I've honestly never had a problem with any of them thus far. Is this the correct way to fix this exhaust leak? No, absolutely not. I've already admitted that I've been welding sections of trampoline frame into my cars for years. I'm not claiming to be a real mechanic. However, this is most certainly the free way to fix this exhaust leak, and for a car that we purchased for $1,600 and have a grand total of less than $2,600 invested in, and that's including every single dollar we've ever spent on the car other than fuel, I think this is the best way to fix this exhaust leak. If I'm grossly overlooking something and potentially causing a problem for myself down the road, please let me know in the comments below. I do read and try to respond to every single comment that I receive a notification for. So if you're banging your head against the wall and yelling at your TV, drop a comment in down below and let me know why. Now that the new exhaust section is fitting the existing section fairly well, I busted out the welder and this sweet 220 extension cord that we made a few years ago. It's a little unruly, but incredibly convenient to be able to roll the welder wherever you need it in the shop. After I got the parts fit up, Andrew finished off the job by laying down some fat MIG beads. It's tough to get the stinger on top of the pipe, and I really didn't put much effort into cleaning the parts, so these are by no means the best welds that we can lay. I mean, Andrew did this for a living for years, but again, this fix is about functionality and economy. The success of the repair should not be measured by the beauty of the final product. Nevertheless, thanks for lending a hand, Andrew.
Oh, don't close up those welds. Those are so bad.
Hey, I'd say it's pretty good for what we're doing. Good enough for who it's for. It's my motto.
All right, we're gonna fire it up, see what it sounds like.
Sounds like it's actually coming out of the rear of the car now.
Yeah, sounds like it's coming out where it's supposed to.
Much better.
That'll do, donkey.
Sweet. Success. The car is right back to sounding like it should. Mundane. Pleased with the result, I haphazardly slapped on a quick coat of whatever high heat rattle can paint was laying around and called it a job well done. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you. I hope this was useful on some level to someone, or at the very least mildly amusing. This is a bit of a different format than the videos I usually make, so if you're a fan of the channel, let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you'll check out some of the other projects we're working on. Most of them are much more exciting than an exhaust leak on my daily driver. With the primary objective complete, I decided I would go ahead and slap on an oil change while the car was already on the rack. So, to those of you still here, thanks again for watching, and enjoy a couple quick clips of some routine maintenance on an old Chevy Aveo box.
fairly smooth.
Luckily, this part has the easier filters to do.
No.
In my opinion.
What was that? It has been a blast. We appreciate you watching.
Yes, as always. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to give us a subscribe.
Right here.
And if you want to see more of the project we worked on today,
Move it over here.
and if you want to see any of the other ill-guided automotive antics on the channel,
Click his gut.
or potentially here.
Right over space.
Thank you guys as always for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.